Chicken Joe, who only identifies as an OU fan living deep behind enemy lines, horns down via emoji, he said Brent Venables didn't lose a single starter to the portal, only to the NFL. Back-to-back playoff runs and some serious noise feel very realistic. What are the odds on back-to-back playoff appearances? Higher than Longhorn fans want to admit. So he editorialized a little bit there at the end. So we did consult with FanDuel to give the boring official answer here. Oklahoma has the 12th best odds to win the national title this upcoming year. But I don't think Chicken Joe, deep in enemy territory, hit us up just to find out what the FanDuel odds are, respectfully. So they got a tough schedule this year, but they had one last year. We had them with the number 2 toughest schedule in the country last year, and they still made the playoffs. So it doesn't really matter necessarily, or it's not a barrier to entry for Oklahoma that they have a tough schedule. Here's the question. Now, I'm very, very, very careful asking this because I want to not talk myself into or out of anything in February, but I wrote it down right here. Did we see Oklahoma's full potential last year? Because remember, they started off good, and Mateer was hot. They beat Michigan in week 2, and things are just ascending. Then he gets hurt. And then they eventually got him back, but the offense was never the same, and there ended up being 2 schools of thought. One school of thought was his injury derailed what could have been a Heisman-caliber season. The offense was off to the races. There was that school of thought. Then there was another school of thought that, no, he always had vulnerabilities and flaws in his game, and he was going to get exposed anyway. The injury just happened to be an excuse for explaining away what would have happened even without the injury. Now, usually, when there are 2 diametrically opposite schools of thought, the truth is somewhere in between, usually. So we'll see. But what if Mateer was ascending and he was only cut down by that injury? Because remember, they couldn't run the ball to save their lives last year. They were 113th in rush yards per game. They were 99th in explosive runs. So they did it without a running game. They made the playoff without a running game. Here's the question. What is that offense this year? Do they do what Georgia did? Georgia wasn't good running the ball, and then they got pretty good running the ball. They had a little dip, and then they picked themselves back up, and they ran the ball very respectively last year. Can Oklahoma do that this year? There's no excuse why they can't. And then you got Mateer back again, and he's got some good weaponry around him. What about the other side of the ball? Have we gotten to the point where we can just blindly trust that Brent Venables is going to toss an excellent defense out there? I kind of am there, but I don't know if they're going to be number 6 in the country. Hey, do me one favor right here. Look down. Are you subscribed to the channel? If you are, thank you. If you're not, please click subscribe. It helps us keep the show free and free of corporate interference. All right, that's it for me. Back to the clip. So they lost 4 of the top 6 on the D-line, 4 or 5 linebackers. Now, they got good players still. So, Kip Lewis is still there. He led them in tackles last year. He led them in tackles, right, Jesse? Yeah. Kip Lewis led them in tackles. David Stone's still there. Both Bowen kids are still there. So they've got good players. It's just up front. Is that nucleus going to be there to where it seems almost impossible to be able to run on them, like was the case last year? Number 3 run defense in the country last year. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assume a little drop-off. And if it doesn't happen, that's just all the better. I'm going to assume, let's say they have the number 20 defense in the country. They'll think that's disrespectful, but I'm trying to be conservative here. So let's say they have the number 20 defense in the country. If I get Mateer equal to or better than he was at his best last year, and I get an improved ground game, which has to be a laser-sharp focus for them this spring, then that schedule, it's tough, but it's navigable because they did it last year. They got 7 of the top 19 teams in the playoff odds at FanDuel on their schedule. So it gets no easier for them, but it's hard to ignore the competitive character that group showed last year. And I do want to take this opportunity to say when we put out our program rankings the other day, yes, begrudgingly, I will admit it was an oversight that we left OU out. They were supposed to be above Tennessee and Texas Tech. We're not perfect. We never claimed to be. So we're looking at a top 10 program in America looking to go back-to-back to the playoffs. I do agree. Yeah, I could easily see it happening. Luckily, it's February, so I don't have to make my predictions for another half a year, basically. I'll probably hit it around July. FanDuel right now, as you see, the exclusive odds provider of the show. FanDuel equips us with Well, that information is publicly available, but FanDuel also equips us with a lot of context that helps, during very, very interesting times during the college football season when so-and-so would be favored on a neutral field, and then we get called out for it, and then FanDuel says, no, actually, they're right. They would be favored. And then the dude who was criticizing us and calling us a liar just says, well, it doesn't matter. Games aren't played on point spreads. They're played on the field. And I'm like, we know. We never suggested anything other than that. Anyway, FanDuel keeps their hands clean on that. That's us. We traffic in the mud on those sorts of arguments. But right now, new signups over there, of course. You're a new signup. You bet $5. If you win your first bet over there, you get $100 in bonus bets. Jesse suggested maybe some baseball futures today. Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know what the win total is this year. No, it's just under. Apparently just under. Don't even know what the number is. It's really responsible. But you got March Madness coming up. You got conference tournaments coming up. You got college football futures you can hit right now. I'm not going to say the options are endless. There is eventually an end to them, but you can go for quite a while over there. Studies show that a majority of our audience that leaves the house wears clothing. At least something is in your closet. Whether you choose to wear it or not, that's your business, and we're not trying to change your lifestyle at all. What I am saying is if you are one of those people who does wear shirts or does wear pullovers or does wear hats, humbly, PateStateMaterial.com is there for you. Got new items over there that I didn't even know about. I was perusing last week because I was about to send someone something. Yes, I buy stuff out of our own store. No freebies here. And I saw like 5 shirts that I knew we conceptualized them. I didn't know that they had uploaded them into the store. But that's Alex for you. She never sleeps. So PateStateMaterial.com is there for your convenience. And no wardrobe is complete without it. That's what some people are saying, at least.